Good morning everyone. Today I want to give my 5 tips to property owners and investors, landlords out there. What do you need to look for when you want to hire yourself a property manager? These are my 5 tips. Number 5 is someone who understands your requirements, someone who knows your property and knows your requirements, exactly what you want to get out of it and how you want your property to be managed. End of the day, it's your property and the property manager should understand as to what your requirements are. Number 4 is how many properties does a property manager manage? So they say more is good, the more the better. In this case, that's not the situation. If you have, say, 400 properties, minimum 2 inspections in a year, you can 800 inspections in a year, that is. So 365 days in a year, you have 800 inspections, that's a lot. So the level of service that you would get is probably not that great. Ideal is about the 50 to 100, sometimes even 200, just depends on how many property managers are working in an organization. Based on that, you can take your judgment as to what suits you. Number 3 is the type of tradesmen that work with that property manager. So if they only work with 1 or 2, then you only get 1 or 2 quotes. If they work with 5 or 6, then you get 5 or 6 quotes. The more the better in this case. So the type of tradesmen that they work with, the level of service that they can provide would determine by that. Number 2 is legislation. Legislation, because in case of things get back to worse, legally, what would be the right of the landlord, what would be the right of the tenant, one needs to know. And based on that, legally, you can take actions based on that. Twisting the tenant's arm, for instance, to get things done your way is not the most appropriate way to go about things. So knowing the legislation is very important. And finally, the most important one, number 1, is communication. We get a lot of landlords come up to us and say, Abhi, can you manage our property? Because our previous property manager is not really giving us a service that we expect from them. Most of the times, getting down to it, comes down to communication, not being clear with the landlord or the tenant, because of which a host of other things can go wrong. So communication is number 1. And to end it all, I would like to give one last final tip is, does one go with a big organization or a small boutique one? Well, it really depends on yourself, who you feel comfortable working with. It's a long-term thing. 5 p.m. on a Friday evening, you should be able to ring up your property manager if you have any questions. So that kind of relationship is what one is looking for when they hire a property manager. So in regards to property management, we are pretty good at what we do, and if you need our help, assistance in property management, residential or commercial leases, give us a call. My details are at the bottom, and I'll be more than happy to have a chat with you. See you later.